Okay, I'm live again. I'm gonna check in with, Facebook, let people know I'm on here again. Um, yeah, there was somebody yelling outside. As far as I can tell, it was from someone coming on a vehicle. I just reviewed cameras, so may or may not be the same person. Anyway, um, let's put out this link. And I hope people are seeing this. I hope everything is going well in your world and that you don't have crazy people in your neck of the wood. um, yeah. Okay. Let's share up a link. Okay. I'm just putting this in the Friends of Sow and Tare. Got interrupted. Here's the new link. All right. So hopefully people find this and we'll go from there. Yeah, thank you, Verna. We're back. We're back. I don't know what that was. It sounded like the same person that came up to my door. That was December 15th, so it's been a while. Um, I just reviewed camera stuff. I didn't hear anything after I shut off the lights and ran down the hallway. But I did review cameras and I reviewed it at 4 times speed. So who knows if I missed anything? I don't hear anything now. Several vehicles went by, so I'm wondering if people were just yelling from the street. Anyway, so sitting here with my bear spray, and my phone. So that's something that I have since that happened in December. You guys don't know what happened. Someone came up to my my door, freaked out, looking for help. This happened in December, and he was on drugs. It was my first interaction with someone on drugs ever. I did not know that someone would be on drugs and speak coherently. And he believed that he believed things that weren't happening. Don't let these people in. You don't know. Go tell them where a safe spot is. Call 911. That's what I did. Turned out he was on drugs and was hallucinating the heck out of things. So that's who I thought I just heard. So that's why I unhooked, went down the hallway, got, and then assessed further. So as far as I can tell, things are good. Okay. It is raining out. Man, the car just went by. I saw the rain in the headlights. So yes, I believe I'm okay. But a little bit of response there. But what that did, the changes that I made since that is I'm always aware of things, right? And kind of get a feeling about things, but I now pay attention to where my phone is because you don't pay attention, you might need it, right? And then I lock the house every time I go anywhere. And by anywhere, I mean even just up to feed the bunnies. And that's a behavior that I didn't think I would need. I always, lock the door if I'm going to be up the hill or something like that. But um, yeah. So anyway, stay safe from Bella. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, everything's okay. Yeah, and the thing is, Jacob, all the sheriffs did. So if it was him, he would go to jail because if he trespasses again, he will go to jail. They asked me if I wanted to do that, and I said absolutely. What I don't understand is why they just brought him back to the same place that he ran here from. That's what I don't understand because in my mind, if someone is hallucinating to the point that they think people are no longer with us uh, and are trying to do something about it, they need to not be loose in public at the time, right? They need to be safe from themselves and safe, and keep other people safe at that point. So there's my little spiel. So what were we talking about? I don't even know what we were talking about. Sorry, guys. Anyway, so that is my story. But I did not hear anything, and then I reviewed the footage at 4 times speed, so hopefully I didn't miss anything. But yeah, there we go. Exactly. Yeah, Verna. And the thing is our county has so few sheriffs. I don't know that they deal with things all the time in I'm not going to say they deal with things poorly. I'm not going to say that, but I'm not sure they have the resources to deal with things the way they would like to deal with them all the time. So, yeah. Anyway. All right. We were talking about cages for rabbits and quail. Okay. Yeah. So the tractors. Yeah. So yeah, quail. I'm excited to get back into quail. It's not going to happen for a while, but I at least have like a plan now of steps that I need to follow, things that I need to think about. Yeah. Oh, Abella was out checking the baby bunnies. Congratulations again. Are they all doing well? How's Mama doing? So Abella's chinchilla, American chinchilla. Is that what it is? I may be incorrect. But her doe had her first Kindle. Kindle means birth. So it's first birth and did really well. So hopefully she's still doing well. Yeah. Yeah. Penny and Risotto had babies this week. You guys got a little bit of a taste in the video today, but I actually saved it to do a separate video tomorrow so that if people wanted to do, baby check time, just have a video on that. And so basically I caught Risotto stashing hay, which is pretty rare for my rabbits because I just put the hay in the nest box. So like she took it from the nest box into her mouth, shoved her mouth full to put it to another place in the nest box, and then dumped a bunch out that was in the wrong spot. Like, okay, lady. Okay. Yeah. So you can either shove the nest box full of hay or straw, or which is what I've gone to doing. Or you can do like what I first did the first time, which is I put the nest box in and I put a bunch of hay in there and I thought that was enough and it wasn't. And I put more in and that wasn't enough either. And I put more in and that wasn't enough either. She kept on taking more and more and more. And that was one of my first videos. It was very long. So like it's like 45 minutes or something. So it's very long and I found it interesting. So if you think you would find that interesting, I think it was tortellini. So it was my doe's mom is who it was. My dozes. So what's the plural of does? Does. My dozes mom. Anyway, she did a really good job and made this fabulous nest, hopping in and out, bringing that stuff with her. But yeah, it's a very long video, but I think it's like tortellini makes a nest or mama rabbit makes a nest or something. It was like my second or third video. The first video was anybody know? My first video was Quail TV with not our cat, which was the old cat that was not our cat that basically lived in the yard at the old place. Our neighbor named it Not Our Cat. And then there was one that looked like it that was not our cat. Anyway, he was, having Quail TV time. So, yeah. Anyway, there we go. Abella says 4 kids were born and one was DOA. So 4 alive or 3 alive? But the other there are big and chunky. Well, yeah, they're getting all of mama's milk. So are there three still with us, or are there four still with us? Um, yeah. It's not uncommon that they will have a miscarriage, or more than one, but it's not uncommon that there will be a miscarriage, or one that was um born on the wire and doesn't get in. Um, yeah. So three are alive and well. Okay, super chunks. I know. Isn't that there's like a happiness when you see their tummies, and their tummies are just so plump. If you guys have ever seen puppies with their bellies fully extended with like happy milk bellies, it's exactly the same thing. And just you're just like you're a chunk of junk, which is a good thing in the rabbit world, right? I mean, you don't want heavy breeders because they won't breed. Um, but as far as babies, having a full milk belly is it's just the most fun thing, and it makes you happy, makes you smile. So yeah. And Verna says always fun. Yep. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. So I enjoy that. Um, Risotto actually came up for pets in a different way than she had before. Like she'll come up to me a little bit. Most of the time she wants scratchies, but when she's in labor, this is actually true with any of them. They really want pets, like relaxing pets. Other than that, Risotto usually wants one of her ears scratched, her right ear, I think it is, right? Yeah, her right ear. Always her right ear. It always has been. She doesn't have any problems with it. Like there's no, mites or anything. But yeah, that's how I, yep. Super chunky ones are how you know you have a good mama. Yeah. Yep. And they are super, super sweet. Um, if people missed it, I did go live earlier this week. Um, whenever it was that, so it was after they were born, but it was whenever it was that Risotto went in and nursed her babies. So I did record that, and it's like 8 minutes, 5 minutes, something like that. Um, Nobody got a warning. Berta's like, I didn't know you were going live. I'm like, neither did I, until I saw that she just jumped in as nursing her babies, and I'm like, I should probably just give this live. I should. I'm thinking I should do more like kind of short lives. I feel like lives bring people in that are like spontaneous. Hey, something's happening. I don't know if that's true or not. You guys let me know. So yeah, but yeah, all the mamas are good, and it's so funny because whenever I handle the babies and which are called kits, baby rabbits, and have um I have my hand, and I go over to Percy, who is the dad. He always is interested in smelling them. He always is interested in smelling my hand and rubbing on his chin on them and stuff. Rabbits have scent glands right here. And so if they're rubbing on stuff, they're like claiming it, they're territorializing it, or they can also just kind of mark it for finding their way back from a place and stuff like that. So yeah. Good evening, Howie. Food Forest Permaculture. How are you? Are you getting this storm? I don't remember if it was going that far north. We're on flood advisory. Um, Several counties actually. And I know the past 2 days we got 0.6 something of rain, inches of rain. And you are well and no storm. Okay. And it's been a little drizzly. And so today I drove up. So where I process the rabbits is just like right above where the hutches are. Like the road goes up a little bit and it sits right above. And so no winter snow, no snow. We're dry in the Pacific Northwest here. Do you count as Pacific Northwest? You're Canada, right? But you're in the kind of area. Um, so up there, the ground was a little squishy up there. So that was interesting. It's not really yet squishy down in the pasture. It's starting to get that way. So yeah. All 3 days of frost for my winter, Howie says. Oh my goodness. We had some frost, but it's mostly been freezing without like the frost. So we kind of skipped that for most of the days. How far does the Pacific Northwest go? Like I know it's like it's Oregon, Washington, Idaho, and I think it goes into Canada, but I don't know how far up, how far north it goes. Because Alaska's not in that, even though it is probably the northest westish of us. Yeah. So Howie says I eat wild rabbits, lots of wild quail here in the food forest. Yep. Yep. Vancouver Island. Okay. Yeah. Um, so I do want to have an aviary with the quail grow outs, males, in the food forest once I have that established. And I was thinking, excuse me, before I got the property and like kind of my ideal place was not this hilly, which is fine. Um, and I was thinking that I would do um rabbits in between the trees in the food forest, which would be a really great idea. But I'm not sure how exactly that would work with the land that I have and the location where the food forest is going to be. Now, I could plant somewhere else. I could plant up the pasture, but then I wouldn't have a pasture, or I would have a silviculture. But um, I'm using that anyway. You pretend you're Elmer Fudd. Oh my gosh, yeah. But what I would like to have some animal influence in there. And so what that looks like, I don't really know. I do know I want to have quail, the grow out quail, male quail. Um, and then I really would like to try Muscovy ducks. And I don't even know if that's appropriate place for them, but it might be fun. What I do have to figure out. Okay, you know how like some cameras have like a gyroscope thing? Does something like that exist for water dishes? Because I would like to use that. I have some places in the pasture that would benefit from that. They could spend a day on a slope and then move or whatever. But it's the water and food dishes. It'd be nice if it like had a gyroscope. So yeah, make a trout pond. Um, I have somewhat of a pond. It doesn't have water in it right now. It did last year. Um, it actually seeps out of the earth into there. It's so my well house is right here, and then on the other side of the road it goes down, and right there it seeps out of the earth. Um, so I just forgot what it's called. I have a flow through well, which basically means that there's this um, layer of water, like a pocket. I don't know. I don't remember what it's called. Um, in any case, so that always has a, a level in the earth that has water, and part of that level is lower because my well is only 7 feet deep on the other side of the road because there's a just different elevational difference. But I don't remember what that kind of water source is, but it's like a water table that's higher, but separated. I don't know. Sag, something sag something. Anyway, I'm going to move on from that. But that has both seepage when it's like last year it was like a little waterfall coming out of the earth there, and actually stayed moist there well into the summer. And then also there is the flow through well water. So some of the water comes through that and into there, And I guess it used to be diverted to that area, but it also diverted the water, the liquid part from the oh, what is it called? From the septic to the same place. And the guy didn't know that that's what it was, and uh, it was stocked with fish. And he would fish there. So I, I don't know how long it takes to get whatever could be in there out of the system. It's probably run through with last year's rain and stuff. I'm guessing all the nasty stuff, if there was any, bacterial and stuff, is probably washed on. But now that I have a leach field, which didn't exist, that's not an issue for future. But it used to be directed into there. So I have considered. I've kind of brought up, but not fully brought up. I do want to talk to the water master about this, but it's not the time because I need to do other things. So I've talked with the water master about other things on the property, um, such as some water rights that expired and all of that. And I haven't followed up on that, but um, that's, I think, where I would start to go through that process to see if I could make it into like a real pond. Because right now it's literally a depression that was dug. It was dug at some point, um, but not, I don't think like, so like how he's saying clay lined, and I know people do bentonite clay, and stuff like that, but it's not lined with anything. It's just a hole that was dug, and it is pretty clayey soil, and so it does hold water for some amount of time. But yeah, what I'm thinking is to make like an actual pond. But yeah, that hasn't happened yet. I'm not there yet. Andy's here. Welcome, Andy Rabbit. Um, she says, I agree, she should make one. Yeah, so there's one there. It's just not a year round or fully functional like that. But what I would do is I would divert that water to the water that comes through the flow through well to the the pond. And it would be, if it had a good bottom to it that didn't percolate through, then it would be a constant little trickle of water. And yeah. Anyway, whenever you talk about, waters, ponds, wetlands, etc., especially in the West, there are a lot of regulations. Um, I deal with that a lot in my work, so I'm not in the same state that I work with that stuff, but I do deal with it, so I do know about it. So I don't want to do something without going through the appropriate channels, because people can get in big trouble for doing that. And as I'm sharing everything with you guys, not everything, but the things I'm doing in the property, I'm sharing with you guys. So that needs to be okay. So yeah, so that's in the future. In the future, yeah. Andy says we ate some turkey eggs for dinner tonight. They are good. I've never had a turkey egg. Describe it, please. Is it closer to? So the ones that I've had are chicken, duck, and quail. Have I had any other? I think that's all I've had. Oh, ostrich, but I don't remember how it tasted. I just remembered that it was huge and the whole family had an omelet, one egg omelet for breakfast. My friend that I stayed the night had. So yeah, cool, cool. It's like a big quail egg. I just added the big. Okay, cool. Very good. Shawnee's here. Welcome, Shawnee. You made a garden veggie soup tonight. Roasted squash, carrots, red peppers, onions, garlic, and blended it up. Baked bread baked, time for cake. Oh my, and you didn't bring any to share? How rude. Anyway, that sounds good, except for I'm guessing the peppers are probably bell peppers, right? But yeah, that sounds good. I have a recipe for a pumpkin soup that's really good. One of my coworkers made it for a get together that we had, and we're all like, "Can we have the recipe?" So now everybody has her recipe and it's really good. So, yeah. What kind of cake? Come on. You can't stop there. Robin's here. Hello from Chicagoland. Hello, Robin. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I agree, Howie. Nice is what he says to Johnny. Yep. Yep. Um, yeah. So my big news this week, which I guess I haven't even gotten to, it's already 7. I got what I need to set up electric fence for bees. I need to still set it up. It is going to rain for a while, but that is happening, and I will that is happening hopefully pretty soon. As soon as I get it set up, someone I know with a trailer, bee mentor, is going to go help me move the hives that I'm getting from someone. And yeah, I think that is a good awesome. Yeah, I think it's going to be an awesome thing. I'm hoping the move is good, goes well. I've never moved bees before. But this will be super exciting. I need to get a bunch of tools now because I have a hive tool, and that's the only tool I have. I have a bee suit and hive tool. I need to get a smoker. I need to get, I don't even know what the things are called. I have a catalog, a dead ant, I think is what it's called. I'm probably not saying it right. Okay, I just discovered, okay. I just processed rabbits, and I use a magnet to hold the tools, the scissors, the garden clippers, and the knife. And apparently, when I leaned over at some point, something dripped on my head and is now on my hand. The red stuff. So I will try and wipe that on my pants, and both my pants and my body are getting a shower tonight. Gosh. I didn't realize I had that on my head. It's good thing it's not all over my face, is it? Gosh. Sorry, I totally lost track of that because I went like this and I was like, wow, I shouldn't have rain on my head still. And then I'm like, that's interesting. Okay, let's get back on track. I don't know that we have an on track. We already went off track the first 5 minutes or whatever. All right. Oh, melon seed. Melons are so good. Verna, I saw that and then I didn't get to read it because I heard someone yelling. Okay. Verna says, what I said earlier is that my chayoga beets get planted on your birthday. Awesome. Very, very awesome. Yeah, that is great. You will love them. Chayoga beets is my favorite kind of beet, and I don't really eat it for the beet, although the beet is good. I eat it for the green. I plant it for the green that I then eat. Guys, I'm off track today. All right. Shawnee says, well, thank you for asking. I made a chocolate cake and I made the coconut pecan frosting too. That sounds wonderful. Yeah. The whole thing sounds wonderful. And you didn't bring enough for everybody. Robin says, hello, friends. Shawnee, pass the cake to go with my tea, please. Oh, I do have tea. I do have tea. It is my thing that I've been drinking a lot of that I make nearly weekly and just put in the fridge. Ginger, turmeric, those are fresh. Peppercorns, cinnamon, and boil that. And then once that's boiled, put in some cloves and turn off the heat, put the lid on, and let that steep. And then put it on the refrigerator after it's cooled down. Abella says, "Are you buzzing with excitement?" Yeah, it's really interesting. Like, I am a complete novice at electric fence. Where I live, you either go north or south, and you make phone calls before you do this because you don't know where the thing is that you need. as far as anything goes. And it's almost equal distance north or south to the stores. So I called the Tractor Supply north of me because it's slightly closer and asked if there was anybody there currently that knows about electric fencing that I could bring something in and talk to them about it, because I already have it and I have an Energizer someone gave me. And I said, oh yeah, we have 2 people that are here that totally do that. I go there and there was one person and he's never set one up and he clearly knew enough to sell the stuff, but not enough to make full recommendations. And he acknowledged that. And so I went in the car. No, first I went over to Grocery Outlet and I got some stuff and I ate some ice cream in the car while I called the other Tractor Supply, which is then an hour away, where it used to be a half hour away. And I talked to someone who knew what she was talking about, and then she sent me to another store, the Grange Co-op. She's like, yeah, the best thing to do, they have the stuff you need. We're talking bears. And at that point, she was talking about doing a net for bear. And I went to the Grange and talked to someone who I for sure know that this person knows about electric fence, because I took like 20 minutes of his time learning electric fence stuff. Awesome person, awesome instruction. But yeah, we're not going with a net. We're going with the wires. But yeah, so I now know, I now hopefully know what I'm doing. So that whole thing, like I'm not excited to learn about electric fencing, but I'm glad that I learned about electric fencing, right? Because it allows me to, again, this is setting up infrastructure before you get animals. So this is allowing me to set up the protection around the bees that allows me to not have them eaten by bears. Hopefully that was a good roundabout, right? But yes, I'm very excited for bees. Yep. All right. Fernand says, "Oh, Shawnee, that sounds like what we used to call a German chocolate cake." Yeah, it could be a different kind of. I mean, maybe a different region of chocolate. Package is secure. Howie says, "What cake and tea? Me too, please." Oh, what cake, meat, and tea? Me too, please. Got it. Oh my goodness. Hey, Morgan, welcome. Thanks for joining us. We are talking all things random. So if you have questions or input, go ahead and jump in. Thanks for joining. It's Morgan with Goldshaw Farm. Howie says, Cucurbita ficiifolia. Is that the one that you talked about before? That's a very large one that was like shelf stable. I think that's the one you're talking about. He says, I think that's how it is spelled. Must grow inside for a month before the last frost. Shelf stable for 7 years. I should have continued reading your thing. Yes, Morgan, electric fencing. I'm getting bees. Someone in my bee group that I've been learning since April or May is highly allergic to bees, and she wears a murder hornet suit, not a bee suit, because she's that allergic. And the anxiety got to her. She said, I need to get rid of them. So I will be getting 2 hives from her, and pretty much as soon as I'm set up. And then 2 hives. And she says that she thinks most of the hives that she has, so she has 6, 2, she's giving the other 4 to other people. But she says most of them are going to be ready to split. So I might end up with 3 or 4 automatically. So yes, so bears. And Morgan, I don't know if you saw my video. Maybe Verna or Steve, you can put a link to the bear video. But I got a bear picking up a road-killed deer on, like, I put cameras on this, and we tracked it, and it went up like pretty close to the house, but up into the trees. Like, it went down the road up into the trees, and it was a boy. We know it's a boy because we saw his boyness. And that was pretty cool because I tracked it. My parents were here for it. We tracked it in the daylight, and it ate almost the entire deer that night. And I didn't even think it was going to come back. I was like, hey, tonight's going to be the safest night out there because this bear is going to be in a food coma after eating a whole deer. No, he came back, and I pointed the cameras in the right direction, and I got video after video of him munching. So yeah, check that out, people. But it did tell me that I know there's bears here, but I have a big boy. He climbed over my camera, which is mounted on a fence, to get to the deer. So I know we have a big boy. I know my neighbor's camera, she's 2 properties away, has a big female that had 2 cubs last year. And I'm guessing it's still her, was very, very fat a few months ago. So I don't know if she's just ready for winter or she must have triplets. I would not be surprised if she had like 3 babies in her. And then I know there's at least one other young one that's been seen on a camera. So we're not like overrun, but we definitely have them here. And my neighbor also just recently got a mountain lion on her camera. So, which last summer, another neighbor got mountain lion with 2 cubs. So that's pretty exciting. Okay, electric fencing. Yes, electric fencing. Shawnee says, sounds like it'll be a game changer. Yep. Can't go wrong with Grange Co-op. You know, Adam, I've been very, very happy with the Grange, and I don't even know how many locations they have, but people are knowledgeable there, which kind of is a rarity at these places these days. Not a total rarity, but you know. And the other thing that I found out about them is that they will, like, if you have a delivery, like if I get a bunch of fencing material, which I'm going to have to get, delivery, at least last year, was $165 for delivery. So I'm thinking, okay, well, I am 45 minutes away from the closest Grange, the Grange. If I have to go 45 minutes there, pick out stuff not fitted in my RAV4, borrow a truck, right? Borrow several trucks for the amount of stuff I need, or several truckloads, and then bring it back. Yeah, I'm already 165 in by the amount of trips that I'm going to have to do, and why not have someone deliver? So I don't know if you knew about that, Adam, or other people in Oregon. I don't know if they go outside of Oregon. But the delivery charge, I think, is going to be worth it. So whenever I get to that point, that's what I'm going to do. Yeah. Yes, fig leaf gourd, Verna. Yeah, he was talking about that. It's been a few months ago that he was talking about that. Yeah. All right. And Shawnee's asking Goldshaw how the weather is. He's in Vermont, so I guess cold right now. Hopefully not too cold. Morgan says the trick with larger animals like bears is to make sure you have adequate grounding. Yeah, so I have an 8-foot grounding rod, and someone told me that actually the person from the second Tractor Supply that I called, she actually has some good knowledge. But she said that in summertime when it can get dry, sometimes the grounding can not be as good, but if the moisture is adequate where the grounding rod is, it'll be a better ground. So that's something. The other thing that I learned from, because I'm going to put this fairly close to the solar panels, is that the grounding rod should be at least 50 feet away from any other grounding rod I'm guessing, I don't know if that only applies for solar panels or what, but yeah, I have an 8-foot grounding rod, and hopefully that will go in the ground well. It should, but yeah. And then I also have, the guy I talked with at the Grange also said that you can put a negative wire to kind of go along with the top 2 wires, because that's what a bear would get, and it'll increase the shockage for the bear. Yeah, we don't see bears all the time, but they're gonna smell things and come down. I mean, just like, I mean, maybe that thing didn't smell it. It probably did because it was smelly. The road-killed deer, but it would definitely see the vultures. So I don't know. It'll be good. I want to be prepared before I do get the animals. So yeah. The leaf looks like a fig leaf. Yep. For the melon that you're talking about, or the gourd. Yeah. Yeah, that video is really, you should check it out. Yeah. Thank you for the link, Verna. Now he's gonna have a look. Oh my gosh. Okay. Adam, let me check my schedule. I don't even know where the farmer's market is in Grants Pass. I don't go anywhere unless I'm going to somewhere. Anybody else have that problem? Someone tries to like tell me, oh yeah, it's across from the, I go to that town for this thing. Where is it from here? Let's see. Calendar. This weekend, Saturday, 28th. Yeah. Adam, can you message me on Facebook and let me know like where things are? And I think you messaged me your phone number, right? Earlier? I don't remember. Yeah, I'll come down for that. That'll be good. Let me know what we can talk on Messenger, and you can let me know if you want me to bring something here from here too. Awesome. Thank you, Adam. All right. Oh, you're watching that video while you're watching this one? Morgan, you're multi-talented. Yeah, it is awesome. It is very awesome. I cannot believe how, so I did not focus the cameras on the carcass. What I did is I focused it so that I knew that it brought the carcass up a tree, like a fallen tree. And so I focused it. I knew that was a path of travel. So I focused it that way. And that one's only like that far off the ground because it feels like this. And then the upper one, I focused on an intersection of trails. And it just happened to sit right in front of the camera. It got a no smudge on the camera. Yeah, it was very awesome. And he's a big boy, but not as big as the lady that's out there. All right. Verna says, long as it is the total delivery charge and not per item. What are we talking about? I don't know what you're talking about, Verna. It's too long ago. Let me know if it's important. All right. Howie says, good night, Earthlings. Moving trees tomorrow, so I need to sleep. Very cool live stream, night Earthlings. Good night. But also, I want to know what trees you're moving and how big they are. But you're probably already sleeping. Thanks for coming, Howie. All right. Goldshaw says you might be better off with 3, 6, or 8 foot rods, roughly 15 feet apart. So the guy there said that 15 apart, 3 of them is ideal but not required. And I don't know enough about them to know one way or the other. But he said a reason why, and it had to do with the type of soil. So I'll look into that though. I'll start off with one, and then if I need, I might need to up it. So I found out the grounding rods, they're aluminum that they use. It's not a copper one, which is interesting because copper is what they use for like Copper is what they use for the house. Copper is what they use for the solar panels that I have ground mount. So I don't know why aluminum is what they use for that. I don't know which one's more conductive, but anyway, yeah. It's extra work, but it makes a massive difference in force. Okay, that makes sense to me. The negative wire with the positives is a lot less effective. Oh, you're saying instead of doing the negative wire a couple inches there, so they hit both. Okay. Is that what you're saying? I think that's what you're saying. Yeah. Peace tree. I don't even know what a peace tree is. I'm looking that up, Howie. Peace tree. Peace tree. There's no pictures? Okay. Tree of peace. Is tree of peace the same as peace tree? I will look at that later. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Adam. Yeah. I get to meet Adam on Saturday. I guess I'll be at Grants Pass Farmers Market on Saturday. I don't know what time, but if you're in the area, stop by. Oh man. Oh, the 165 delivery charge. Yes, for the Grange Co-op. It's not as expensive as what I thought. The whole, because that's a truck, you know. Yeah. Ooh. Okay. Howie is listing trees that he's moving. Lemons, banana is not a tree, it's an herb. Lemons, bananas, cherries, blueberries are also not trees, but I accept all of those things. That sounds good. You're growing bananas. Do you have a green? You must have a greenhouse. Awesome. Okay. Ooh, Morgan, I don't think I've seen that story. You have a story, a hidden story? He says, trust me on this one, the extra rods make a difference. Hard lesson learned on my part. I will take that advice then. And it's funny because like that's something that the guy said can be done. And I honestly, because I went in there and I was like, okay, I'm ignorant in this subject, teach me. But he did say that, and I think it had to do with the type of soil that is not necessary, but it can be helpful. So I think I will take your advice. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'm getting into bees. Okay. What? Wait, Howie, are you lying to us? LOL. No, a peach tree. Did you just write bananas instead of peach? How does this happen? Were you listing yogurts in your refrigerator? Is that really what you're saying? My gosh. It's okay. You are tired. You may go to bed. Oh. And he says Starks Brothers has trees on sale right now. Starks Brothers always has trees on sale. I'm on their text thing. I have never gotten anything from them, but I'm on their, they text me like every day because there's a new sale every day. I resisted the urge. Oh, I got asparagus. But I resisted the urge to buy fruit trees because they were at the Grange and I needed to go into that area because there was potting soil that I needed and seed starting mix that I needed to start my seeds. And I made myself not go out and venture because I knew I would come home with something. And I know I'm not ready for it because my spot is not ready for it. April is the goal for taking down those trees. And then so planting will happen in the fall or fall, winter. And I probably won't have anything right away, but I'm going to try. If you guys have plants starts that you want to help out with, I do have a post office box that can be mailed. Or if you have things that you're like, oh, you would like this, let me know. I am zone 8B. Let me know, and I will look into it. I just learned about from the permaculture orchard, Stefan. I just learned that sea berries, that there is a thornless, not thorn-free, there's a thornless variety of sea berry, and I didn't know about this. Sea berry is in my list of plants to plant. It's a male and a female plant, and the females have the berries, and they're like that big, and I've never actually had them, but they're high in vitamin C, and they're used in all sorts of things, and it's a nitrogen fixer. So that's pretty cool. Um, I know of at least one person that has grown them in Oregon, up in the Portland area, but yeah, so I did not know there's a thornless variety of sea berries, but that's pretty cool. I'm still on the hunt for different nitrogen fixers. Gummy berry was the other one that he said. And I know there's others. I do plan to do a lot of flowers in the food forest because I do have bees that will appreciate that. So I will likely do some ceanothus, which is more of a, hopefully it's not too wet here for that, but it's a very showy flower bush or tree, but I'm going to do the bush. Or they have like ground cover bush and tree varieties of it. And so I will do that as some of that. But yeah, I am on the search for nitrogen fixers and any other useful tree. I would prefer all of my nitrogen fixers to have a dual purpose, not just fixing the nitrogen, but to have a fruit or have good flowers for the animals. I also am looking for, so October is our low time of year for flowers. And so for bees, October, and I'm going to say probably end of September, October for here, because my bee group is about, like, where that's centered is about 2 weeks ahead of floristically of where I am. But yeah, okay. Um, let's see. Oh, I think Howie meant peach tree, not peace tree. There is a tree called tree of peace. Okay. So I unplugged my computer the other, like when that yelling guy came, and now it's on low batteries. Let me plug you guys in. Ta-da, you're plugged in. You're so powerful, guys. All right. Um, so Verna has the tree of peace definition there. Pine, what? Oh, it's a pine. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So Robin is telling Andy Rabbit, oh, that sale is good to know about. Yeah. All the sales are good to know about. If you know about the sales, let us know. I have a Friends of Sow and Tare Facebook group, and I don't want it to all be ads, but if you guys have you're like, wow, this nursery's great. I love this nursery. Let us know about it. Well, let us know what you got and how it did. Yeah. All right. Um. Okay. Andy says I grabbed that Bing tree when it was on sale for $18. That is awesome. Tractor Supply has some trees right now, and I really wanted to get an Anna apple because I had Anna apple when I had my old place, and it's actually a really good apple. It's an early apple, and it's a tasty early apple. And my one in Gilroy double harvested almost every single year. So, or double cropped. So she would give me an early crop, and then weather was confusing. And so she gave me a later crop. Now, one of the years that was only 10 apples, and then another year that was more than 10 apples, right? But she does double crop sometimes. So that's pretty cool. But I didn't, because I'm like, they will have it next year. I've seen it. I saw it last year. They will have it next year. And I want to get some good varieties. So I'm planning next winter to go down to California to some of the rare fruit grower scion exchanges, and hopefully set up stuff. What I should do is I should order rootstock now and have some rootstock so I can grow it now so that I can get scions and make trees. Anybody get rootstock from a particular place that they trust. I need to figure that out. I should just call OSU, Oregon State University. Okay. Robin says, way to resist. I need this quality. It's hard. It's so hard, Robin. So I have a friend and an old neighbor, same person. Um, she's not old. She's a neighbor from my old neighborhood. And we would go to, if anybody is around Morgan Hill in California, Johnson's Nursery, it's an ace. It's awesome. And people there know what they're talking about, all that. But we would go there, I would always get a cart because you got to get a cart. That's how she limited herself. She didn't get a cart and she would refuse to let me carry anything for her. She could buy it if she could carry it. And that was her rule. And it's a really great limiting rule. Oh my gosh. Oh, Verna, awesome. So Verna's sending purple sweet potato plants, which she grew the slips herself, which is super fabulous. Super. I'm looking forward to that. Let me know when they're in the mail so I can start checking the box. I don't check it very often. All right. Adam says, just looked it up. Copper is better at conductivity. However, aluminum does better for long stretches. Something learned every day. Yep. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. Okay. And Verna says, Adam, it's good to learn something new every day. That way you know you are alive. Woo-hoo. You can learn more than one thing. Andy says, we went to Walmart, got me a fig tree, a violet devore. I don't know that one. Couldn't get it last year. I wish you success. Third one. Hopefully it'll live. Oh my gosh. Oh, South Florida. Welcome. You're just on time. You're just on time. Yeah. I hope you're doing really well. Andy says the fig tree one got rooted up once when it froze. The other one didn't live when I went away from home for a week or so. Oh my gosh, that must have been like a hot spell or something. My goodness. My goodness. Well, that's okay. Yeah. Figs, mulberries. There's other things too, but those are the two that I know will grow from a cutting. And I have grown both of those from cutting and then left it at my house that I sold. But yeah, those are things I know can grow from cuttings. And the other stuff you have to graft. I'm sure people root other things. What is it? There's one plum that is known to just be able to root. And it's used as a rootstock, but it can just be cut, put in the ground and grown that way. But I don't remember these things. Yeah. I need to figure out if there's a group like the California Rare Fruit Growers in Oregon. And I know Oregon State University it's far away from me, but it is a really good ag school. Like they do a lot of ag stuff. So those of you that met Keith at QuailCon, he actually the elderberry that he named Remembrance, they have that variety at Oregon State University now. And he's in Ohio, so or is he in Ohio? I think he's in Ohio. Anyway, so it's well known, but I do need to contact them and try and figure that out. So yeah. They're coming in batches again, guys. The comments. Okay. Ooh, South Florida has the same one as you, Andy. And you hope one day it fruits. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh my goodness. If you don't grab them when you see them, you will miss them. They might not have it again. Yeah. I mean, with Anna apple, I think I'm guessing that's what you're talking about because it was a while ago. With Anna apple, it's a pretty common variety. Like once you look, like if they carry it in Tractor Supply, they carry it in a lot of other places. But they're more affordable from Tractor Supply, and but you're not going to get the varieties. Like for example, that is a variety of apple, but the variety of Asian pear was Asian pear. There are tons of varieties of Asian pear, and some are better than the others for sure. And they have different flavor profiles and all that. So that's something else to look at. Is like, oh, do I care what the variety is? You might not. You might not, but you might. You know, Asian pear is something that is used medicinally. Like you boil it. It does not really taste good when you boil it, but you boil it and it makes something that's good for like sore throats and coughs, I think. It's been a long time since I researched that. Okay. Um South Florida. Everybody wants to know how old your tree is. Yeah. Andy says, oh, I already did that. South Florida says Anna apple can do warmer climates, correct? Yes. I was in Gilroy. It got up to 115. She did fine. She did have extra afternoon afternoon shade. I don't know that it would have made a difference, but she did good. Yeah, and they're kind of squarish apples. It's very interesting. I got that one at the ugly plant sale at Johnson's Nursery in Morgan Hill, California. And uh, if you're in the area, they do that at some point in October. And it was ugly plant sale because it was a bare root that got potted up from the year before that didn't sell, and the whole half side of it stuff was gone, and it was like a one-sided thing. And I was like, I'll make you an espalier. It was perfect. And so I kind of did that. Kind of, not really. It pretty much just grew up through a cattle panel trellis archway, but it did great. Yeah. Um, the mistake I made with that one is I planted sweet potato underneath it, and I'm like, well, now I can't dig up the sweet potatoes because I don't want to disturb the roots of the apple tree. Duh. Yeah. Um, okay, and South Florida says a year and a half or a bit more for the fig tree. And is it from cutting or from like is it planted? Because you don't really know how old it is if it's planted. Yeah. Ooh, and you got some figs last year from 2 trees, but only got 3 ripe ones before it froze. The birds are what you battle. Yeah. Getting varieties that are different colors other than the reds and the purples and all of that is, yeah, they'll survive better. I miss having figs. Figs are so good. Yeah. Um, I never had enough to like save. I did dehydrate some of them. I think I freeze dried some, not like to package, just to try. And I don't remember how that worked, but I think I did like 1 or 2 of them. But yeah. Um, So Florida says, "Thank you. I thought I remembered DGT talking about an apple. It's a decent apple. It's an eating apple. Um, it makes like if you're going to be using it to make apple cider, apple juice, whatever, it's good to mix it with a sour apple, like a Granny Smith, which was my neighbor's tree, or something like that. It's really good by itself, but it's better if you mix it with a tart one. Um, yeah. Thank you, Verna. I'm excited to grow things, guys. I didn't have a garden last year, and this year I will have a garden. Um, it's happening. So, yeah. In fact, this weekend, after I go to the market, right? I will have to figure out. Um, I'll have to figure out what I'm growing. So I have a lot of old seeds, and I do want to grow some of the old seeds just to kind of renew stuff. I bought seeds, guys. Okay, if Robin's still on here, I did not fully uh, you know, avoid buying plants. But the seeds that I bought were flower seeds. So I wanted to have more flower seeds now that I'm having the bees. Having flowers here is nice and all, but it won't have them survive to have like the flowers that I will plant. Um, but it'll be nice to have that scattered around and in the area and all that for them. Um, I mean, they will travel 3 to 5 miles, and yeah, pretty good. Okay. South Florida says I finally got my tropicals back outside, and now 3 nights of nail biting. Oh my gosh, your Israeli with a stick. Okay, yeah, yeah. So I from stick. How many years? It took a few years for planting by stick um, to get it to start really growing. And the year that I sold my place, that was when things just shot up and like it was going to start going. And yeah, I should have spent more time taking stuff from there if I knew that they were going to take it all out like they did. But I didn't. Yeah. Um. Uh-oh. Verna's saying South Florida is going to get another freeze soon. I thought Keith was in Ohio. I didn't remember if he drove in from another state or if he was in Ohio. Thank you. South Florida, be warned, right? And Verna follows Ryan Hall, y'all, which put up another video today. Yeah, yeah. So Ryan Hall, y'all, is going to be good for where you guys are. If you're in the Pacific, I did it again, guys. I don't know how much red stuff I have on my head. Definitely taking a shower and doing laundry tonight. Okay. If you guys just popped on, you might not know what I'm talking about. That's okay. Um, anyway, so that's good for where you guys are. The one that I watch here is Pacific Northwest Weather Watch, and he's out of Seattle, Washington, and um, and he also does the weather for Alaska Airlines, so he like knows his stuff. Yeah. All right. Andy says, when I got the fig tree, first thing Sierra says, can we freeze dry figs? The answer is yes, but I'm not sure. So with fruit that have seeds, that's a silly thing. All fruit has seeds. When with fruit that have seeds incorporated into what you're eating, um, the seeds have to dry extra. So like if you do strawberries, there's still going to be moisture in the seed. And actually, strawberry, fun fact, the part that we view as a strawberry, the red part, is auxiliary fruit. It's not the actual fruit. The fruit is what we see as a seed, and inside that is the actual seed. Fun fact. I don't know how fun it is, but it's a fact. But yeah, so you have to do it extra. Some people say 24 hours. Some people say more or less or whatever. I think it matters like how long you're going to keep it for, you know? Yeah. All right. South Florida says, my mulberries fruited off cuttings. Wild to see little sticks throwing flowers and fruit while propagating them. Awesome. How long did that take? Yeah. You love your granddaughter's thinking. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. We got a critical thinking there, which is good. Um, and oh, Verna, you're gonna get your freeze dryer out. You're gonna. That's good. That's good. Um, Andy says, "Oh, Verna, you're pulling my new baby out of the corner." Oh my gosh, you guys are funny. South Florida says Violet Debby was a Tractor Supply fig inside in those bags with soil, cardboard sleeve over it. I did look at some. They didn't have those when I was there. Word to the wise: don't trust what isn't growing. If you can find one that's already growing, pick that one. If you can't find one that's already growing or obviously has life, what I do is I go up to the register and I say, I'm going to check this before I buy it. And you just open, and they say yes. And then you open the bag and you check and see if there's roots. Because if there's no roots, it's unlikely that there's life at that point. I one time bought one without checking. It was some sort of a berry, a blackberry or raspberry or something. And when I got it home, I got it out and it was a stick upside down into it. And it didn't have any roots. So, yeah. Check those before you pay for them. Yeah, Chicago Hardy is also, yeah, Tractor Supply. Andy says Chicago Hardy is pretty well, it's pretty much everywhere. Yeah, that's a fig. Yes, and Verna says, you can grow sweet potatoes in a green stalk. Yep, and regular potatoes and pretty much anything. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to be planting up at least one of my green stalks with strawberries. I got some from two different people. Hopefully some from one person are still good. They're still green leaves, so it's good. And so that's good. All right. South Florida says, I love green apples, so thanks for that info. Yes, and there's so many different types. So the one kind that I actually grafted onto my Anna apple, and I got fruit from it the last 2 years before I moved. It's Belle de Boscop, and that is a very complex flavor apple. And it really, really, really is. It has such a different flavor. So I encourage people, like, find out different varieties, see if there's a tasting around or make it happen. I mean, when I was with the California rare fruit growers out of Monterey, in California, obviously, maybe not obviously, because Arizona and Texas also have branches, or chapters. When I went there, we had apple tastings. There were 77 different varieties of apple that we could taste. And, someone pays $5 or $10, I don't remember what it was, to go around and taste of them. And it was a fundraiser for us. And the tastings that you can go to, so some of these things are absolutely incredible. Like, you don't think you're going to get excited about these things until you're like, oh my gosh, this is different than anything else I've had. Yeah. We had a citrus tasting. We had a pineapple guava tasting. And the pineapple guavas, which is also called Fiahoa, mine won. Mine won, and mine was the unnamed variety that was obtained because it was a pineapple guava before I knew there was different varieties. And my northern tree or my southern tree, I had two trees, and one of them was tastier than the other one, but it won over the named varieties, which is like, yes. But they were all good. And yeah, people just get together and do tastings. We did tasting with lemon, like a citrus tasting. It had pomelos and kumquats and all the varieties of tangerine, orange, all the way through to lemon. And somebody who knew the flavor profiles put them in order, so that you're going from this to this, and it's going to work with your palate and all that. So yeah, awesome stuff. Thank you, Robin. Email me if you need seeds, she says. I think this year I am going to go with what I have, because I have so many seeds. But if you think of something special that I should be growing, let me know. I might have seeds already, but I appreciate that so much. Yeah, South Florida, you can put sweet potatoes in green stalks and you will get sweet potatoes. Yeah. Yeah. Do you have green stalks? I have green stalks. If you don't have green stalk, I do have in the description of all my videos a $10 off your first purchase. It's a link, I think. I don't think it's a code. I think it's a link. And I recommend getting them especially if you have a small area, or if you like strawberries, they do really well in. Peppers, they do really well in if you roll them inside for the winter, unless you roll them inside for the winter after them being 3 years old, and the room that you bought your house with, the room that you put it in that you thought would protect from winter, freezes. Yeah, that happened. I lost 3-year-old peppers that were in a green stalk. But they will support larger plants because each pocket isn't one pocket. That whole level is one container. Yeah, they work really well. I like them. Strawberries, they work great for strawberries because strawberries love wet, but they also hate wet. So the leaves don't like to be wet, but the roots like to be wet. And so temperamental. But they do really, really well in green stalks. The thing about raising things in containers or green stalks is they need nutrition to be put in because you're like flushing the system. What I would do is whenever I processed my animals, I would have the red water, and I would just pour that in the top, and it did pretty well for them. Yeah. Okay. Somebody just went on my website. I heard you. Yeah, so Verna used to have lots of green stalk stuff going on. Yeah, she says I used a green stalk full of sweet potato slips, one slip in each plant pocket. That full green stalk got stolen, full of ripe sweet potatoes. Yeah. Yep. South Florida says a friend calls me Northern Cuba. I'm Palm Beach County. I don't know where all the different counties are in Florida because I've been to Florida once. I went to a conference that I presented a poster at, the Defenders of Wildlife conference. I presented a poster on badger diet analysis that I did. I'm a wildlife biologist. And my dad went with me. I did not think he was going to sign up for the conference, but he did. And his butt hurt after a while because they had folding chairs and he did not know he was going to be sitting. I'm like, you don't have to do this. You can like go do something. We got to meet a wolf. That was pretty cool. Yeah. Went to the Everglades. That was cool. My mom never wanted to go to Florida because they have, big bugs and snakes and, alligators and stuff like that. And my dad had always wanted to go. And so this is a good opportunity. But that is my extent of knowledge, is a conference that I went to, and we went to the Everglades, which is fun. Yeah. Andy says, I can't wait to get some sweet potatoes growing. Yeah, sweet potatoes are awesome. Let's just leave it at that. They're awesome. The end. Okay. Oh my gosh, Verna, your sweet potatoes were coming out of the soil. They're so big. That is awesome. That is awesome. Yeah, Verna had stuff stolen from outside her apartment. That was her food, and it was not good. That was a couple of years ago, right? Or was it last year? A couple of years ago? Yeah. South Florida says, I don't time my mulberry cuttings. I stuck it in an unused bed to see how they would do. It was like 9 out of 10 prop success. One of my old neighbors was successful with not the improved Meyer lemon, but a Meyer lemon that was like an ancient one, with cuttings. So she did actually get them to root with cuttings of that. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, so South Florida says you can scratch a fig stick to check for green. If no green, it's usually dead. Yeah, and you can do that that's the same for any plant. Any plant, you can do that. It said as duh or D for. Duh or D for? Okay. Okay. All right, thanks for coming, Adam. I'll see you Saturday. All right. Good night. South Florida says, I need varieties that don't need much chill time, obviously. A lot of California areas, you have that night cool off and temp drops. I just don't have there, except this year. Yeah, this year's been interesting. Yeah, so chill hours are very important. Apples and cherries, you're going to want to especially focus on that aspect of having the correct amount of chill hours, because if you don't get enough chill hours, you can still have a wonderful tree, a wonderful plant, but absolutely no fruit. So that is something you do have to pay attention to. And for those that don't know about what we're talking about, chill hours is anything below, I think 45, it might be 40 degrees. And it's additive throughout the season, throughout the winter season. And that's how many hours of chill, of cold, are required for that variety to make fruit. And uh, like I said, you could have a perfectly healthy tree that never makes fruit, and it might not be making fruit because it needs more chill hours than your area provides. Something to pay attention with that is the trend of where your weather is going, and something good that you can use to kind of look at that trend, if you don't see it yourself, is in 2003, the USDA plant hardiness zones changed. Not everybody's changed, not everybody's updated, but some people did update. Some of them got colder, most of them got warmer. So if you look at the map from before, if you can find it, from before 2023, and you look at the map for now, you can see what trend it's in. And that's on a 10-year cycle, as far as I understand. I may be misremembering that, but as far as I remember, I believe it's on a 10-year cycle, that they update that. Yeah. Andy says, my new gig has one little tiny leaf starting. What is a gig? I don't know what a gig is. All right. South Florida says, good night to Adam, Mr. Soil. Oh my gosh. Okay, Flora says, I have 2 filled with soil ready to go. Awesome. 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 Thrips are an issue down there in the South with strawberries. That makes sense. Thrips are so tiny. I've never had them as a pest, but they exist. Like, they always exist in like the citrus areas, but I never had them like to pest levels. They were just existing. Yeah, thrips are very tiny. It's an insect, in case anybody's wondering about that. Okay. What? Probably could strain poo-poo juice through it. I'm going to leave that up to you. Or rabbit gold tea. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah. So the only thing about the green stalks is they say to only put water in there. However, I've done water with the blood stuff. I just said the word I wasn't going to say. Anyway, after processing animals, I have used the red water, and haven't had any issue. Look at your discs that are in between. One, make sure that the hole in the disc in between the layers lines up with a pocket. So I would do that before you plant anything. And then the other thing to think about is that hole, how small it is. You don't want to put anything bigger than that in there because it'll clog up. Yeah. Okay. South Florida says, going from the bottom of Florida, Monroe, the Keys, Miami, Dade, Broward, then Palm Beach County. Over 46 years here, seen 5 snakes in the wild, none venomous. My mom doesn't care if it's venomous. She does not like snakes. And I was a little kid that brought her snakes. Yeah. Yep, I was that kid. Oh my gosh. 2 years ago. Okay, Verna, that's what I thought. You love doing propagation experiments? Yeah. Do I get them in the soil after? Nope, not yet. Are you talking about thrips? Yeah. Okay. I don't know, Andy, what about the improved Meyer lemon is improved. I have not delved into this at all. I do know. Okay, at my old place, I had what I assume is an improved Meyer lemon because that's all they sell these days. it had a citrus tree tag on it from Home Depot still. And it was not huge, but it was large, it was large enough to have been there for several years. I can say my Meyer lemons were great until I tried two of my neighbors' Meyer lemons. Both of their yards had trees in them when they bought the place that were much older and had what I believe is probably the original Meyer lemon. And theirs is so much better. So I don't know what's improved about it, if it was rebred, or bred back and rebred. Like, I don't know what is improved about it. It could be disease resistance. It could be just that they crossed another tangerine with another, I don't remember what kind of lemon. I think it was a tangerine and lemon that makes the Meyer lemon is a cross between two different types of citrus. I believe it's a tangerine or a mandarin with a regular lemon. And it is a true cross. And then what happens is when they need to do a new tree, you don't plant a seed, you graft. So like most named varieties of fruit trees, you cut off a piece or a bud or whatever and put it onto a rootstock. And so that's how it becomes, and that's how it is the same flavor, is because it is the same tree. It is the same genetics. So I don't know how it may or may not have been, I don't know how it was improved. My inkling, like if I had to answer this as a test question, I would assume that it might be recrossed. They might have crossed the same things and gotten something slightly different, but I don't know. You also have to consider with fruit taste, you have to consider the soil and weather conditions. I know at my old place I had, we did a citrus tasting, just a couple of us there, every year. And the citrus they tasted different year to year. Meyer lemon was pretty standard. There was another one that was pretty standard, but like the different orangey type things, they had different flavors or flavor intensities each year, and some we would put higher than others depending on the year. So that's also something to think about, is amount of water it's getting, amount of heat and cold it's getting, general conditions, was there a lot of smoke and air and it suffocated it or something, and then nutrition. So yeah, it does affect things. So I don't know is the answer. All right, Verna's headed to bed. Good night, and say good night to Lucy too. All right, thank you for getting here. Oh, fig. That makes sense. GIG is fig. I I should have figured that one out. I should have figured that one out. Oh, thrips and mites. South Florida has Sri Lankan weevils and leaf miners. Leaf miners are, leaf miners. Poo-poo juice, green tea, manure ferment that smells like poop. Okay, got it. Got it. Made from weeds. Okay, Diva in the Desert calls it poo-poo juice. I now understand. Yeah, so you can make comfrey tea. That it does really good things, and it's made the same way you're talking about. So basically, it's cut up whatever material you're using, green material, submerge it in water, cover it up, let it ferment. When you open it up, you're gonna want to throw up, but it has good qualities to it, and you want to dilute it. So people use that for weeds. People use not for weeds, but with weeds. People use it with all sorts of green stuff. I've made compost tea. I've made compost tea too, but that needs an aerator with molasses as well. But when you're doing comfrey tea, that just stinks, but it works. Yeah. Okay. Korean farming method juice, basically all strained out. All right. Do the lemons ever lose their thorns? So different parts of so not all lemons have thorns. Sometimes the thorns, if you have a lemon that has some branches with thorns that comes down low, that's the rootstock. So you should cut those off. If they're only down low, you should cut those off because that's energy going to something that you don't want it to go to. If you ever get stabbed with a Meyer lemon thorn, it hurts. There's something in it that makes it hurt even worse than if you just got poked. I don't know what it is, but it is not fun. They don't lose the thorns, but water shoots, which is like the ones that go straight up, grow really fast. Those are more likely to have them. Um, yeah, you just kind of have to pick a variety that doesn't have them, or start thinning things out from your like if it's coming from the rootstock, start chopping those ones out. Yeah, those thorns can be like that big, and you think you're going to miss them because they're big, but you don't. Yeah. Okay, so Flora says, moving here, we had a grapefruit, juicy orange, and tangelo tree. Also a loquat. My grandma had a loquat. It's so good. Um, that thing was always infested with bugs. Oh my gosh. No idea on cultivars. Yeah. Yeah. Some trees do better than others. And some varieties do better than others, and some individuals do better than others. Um, yeah. There was a grapefruit, and I wish I knew the variety. The guy didn't know the variety, but there was a grapefruit that. So I was on a job site. They were taking down a house, and I was, doing the biological kind of inventory. And the guy comes out, and he's like, "Do you want some grapefruit?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And this place had so many just ancient fruit trees, and it was so sad to see it go away. Um, like huge. And there's a certain medicine that people with heart conditions have that they can't have grapefruit. And he had that. And so he came out with like 4 big shopping bags of them. By the time I was done my survey, I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. And then, I give him in my card, and like a week later, maybe 2 weeks later, he calls me. He's like, "Hey, you ready for more grapefruit?" Because he's literally just like a couple miles away. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll come by. But it was a grapefruit that had a thinner skin, and it was yellow, more yellow than orange. It still had a little bit of orange tinge, but it was like a yellow grapefruit and yellow inside, and it was super good. It didn't have the super, super tangy that the ruby red has, but it still had some tang, but not that much. Yeah. Anyway, it was good. So if anybody knows what variety that might have been that I can plant in my tunnel once I get it, I should probably ask people in California. They probably know more. Okay. South Florida says, moving here, we had a grapefruit, juicing orange, and tangelo tree. I had a tangelo tree too. Also loquat, but that thing was always infested with bugs. Oh, I already read that. Those old varieties were so good. Exactly. A lot of them have thorns here. Oh, wonder if they have that powder on them like bougainvilleas. I don't know what you're talking about with powder. Also says the state cut my dad's fruit trees down. Oh my gosh. Years later, mom got $500 for them. That's not enough. Yeah, yours was yellow inside, sweeter than usual too. Yeah, so I want to find a variety that's like that because grapefruit's good, but I like the ones that are not quite so tart. Now, here's the problem, right? We all need more bitter things in our life, right? I mean, the bitters are good for you. Have you ever had bitter melon? I've had it cooked wrong and I've had it supposedly cooked right, and neither one were very tasty at all. Um, Not very tasty. They weren't tasty. So, yeah, that is something that I definitely um, should be having more bitter stuff. But we as humans, I think, tend towards sweet, right? Um, Andy says, my neighbor growing up had a lemon tree. I don't know what kind it was, but we would get a paper bag or two and make lemon juice from it every year. Yeah. So we had a lemon tree when I was little. And we like made real lemonade on the corner, right? I am picky about lemonade now. Like if someone, if you go out to a meal and you're like, oh, lemonade's on the menu. I love lemonade. Is it Minute Maid? Then no, that's not lemonade. That's not lemonade. Oh, you guys make it yourself? Oh, you use a syrup? No, that's not lemonade. Like I'm like, no, I would like lemonade that is not super, super sweet and you can actually taste the lemon, but not super, super sour. Um, I knew someone in college that did not know that lemonade was the lemon was aiding the flavor. He moved into a new place that had a lemon tree and proceeded to squeeze tons of lemons into a glass and add tons of sugar to it. No water. Uh, and that was lemonade, and he wondered why he had a tummy ache. Because you just drank acid. Um, if you want to know how to do lemonade, I actually do have a video on making lemonade. Anyway, it was he told that story in front of a lot of us, and I hate to say it, but we all laughed. He's like, what happened? You're supposed to do mostly water, some lemon, and some sugar. So there you go. But Meyer lemonade is awesome. Okay. South Florida says the med is satin. Oh, medical. Okay. And that is why I'm eating grapefruit again. Okay. Yeah. Robin's a lemonade snob too. It's kind of like garden fresh cantaloupe. You just really have a hard time buying another cantaloupe from the store. Yeah. South Florida says we have the vendors at plant sales that juice lemon and add the sugar and the water and cocktail, shake it. Most delicious lemonade. As long as the proportions are right. As long as the proportions are right. I love a good lemonade, but there's so many out there. It's just sugar and a little lemon. So, yeah. All righty, guys. Well, we are way past 8. I did have an intermission when I heard a guy shouting outside. As far as I know, everything's fine. But yeah, it has to be right. Exactly. But I think it's time for me to hang up here, have some dinner, feed some bunnies, and do it all over tomorrow. So yeah, I am looking forward to getting bees. I will take Morgan's advice and go get some more grounding rods. I probably won't do that for a couple weeks. It might be something that I add at some point later. But I do think that's something that's a good idea. And it's going to be raining for at least half a week. So yeah, I'm planning on going to town Saturday. I can get a Saturday. There we go. I need to remind myself that I'm going somewhere Saturday. So, all right. Yes, no corn syrup. All right. South Florida said, glad I made it. Yes, you're welcome. And Andy says, good night. All right. Good night, guys. We will see you guys. Okay. Next week, we will see you on Thursday. So it'll be Thursday the 5th at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And that is what we're doing on Thursday of next week. Because next Monday is B-Day. All right. We will see you guys later. Good night. And we will see you guys later. Enjoy the video tomorrow. Night, guys.